Hello, Sweet Tooth and Flutterpyrox is here. Gonna play more Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright.
Woo!
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 Whoop!
Woo!
Whoop whoop! That's how you do a happy thing. Celebration. The whoop whoop. Alright. February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby number 2. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if...
Something's been happening behind the scenes.
Edgeworth!
Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 777777777 ID number is, that is.
Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out.
You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything.
True. Not yet.
In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Sky will be found guilty.
But she didn't do it!
I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say.
This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her.
The truth?
Everything goes back to the SL9 incident.
Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past.
That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened.
I'll think about it. See you in court, right?
This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. February 25th, 10 a.m., District Court number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. Morning, folks! How's everything doing? Hey, Udgy. Been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that.
If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours?
Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard, she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble.
What's this all about, defendant?
I'd
I'd like to make one simple request and I'll be finished.
Well then, what's your request?
Your Honor, I'd like you to put immediate end to this trial.
Huh?
I confess to all charges against me.
Here we go again.
On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman.
Would you stop it, defendant? Come on.
In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office.
Stop it. No, Lana! Stop it. It's time to stop. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services.
But Lana!
Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial. Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant...
One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature.
Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut?
I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant.
What?
Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes.
Some kind of deal? Not everything operates as you do, Worthy.
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh? To whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. You can fire Mr. Wright, but the prosecution still is going to attack you.
Yeah, the prosecution's just going to sit there making up whatever the hell he wants now.
Yeah.
Until she has to put Wright back up there.
That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy! You'll live to regret this. Mark my words.
Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My my occupation. I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then. Sure gave in fast.
It's just like, okay, if Edward says so. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago.
The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor.
You gotta admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. Who, me?
Yep, Condom, you have to cross-examine the witness, not Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Edgeworth just got there on the stand for you.
Nice. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct?
Yes, she was second in command under the then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair.
I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I had always stood at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I went to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished work.
Man came running in and took me hostage. A man?
Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to arrest.
When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right?
Why did he come in for questioning if he was just gonna flee?
I don't know.
Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then ran into Skye and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's what I saw him. whenever there's a lot of noise at a police office, do you look outside?
I don't know.
Well,
What was the prosecutor doing there?
that day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief David Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
I almost forgot about Gant.
You almost forgot him.
What? Come on.
Neil Marshall had just received King of Prosecutor Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony.
I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark.
When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in.
I don't really remember what happened then. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant.
What did you see? Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out.
The lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. This sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw that day.
The detective?
Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman. The victim.
He was a good man.
He was a good man.
Good men die young.
Hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago.
Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture.
You have the picture.
This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning.
The list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture.
Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor.
Alright. Oh no, I got it. I have the picture. You want to see a picture?
We have pictures. We have all the pictures.
You want a balloon? You want a balloon, Georgie? Alright, yeah, look at that. There's a picture. Whoa. To present, you press tab. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet, you would insist on denying its existence?
Why are you being a jerk to Edgeworth? He gave you this chance. Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture.
That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident? Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Turn it... Ah! What's this? It's a picture.
Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew.
Yay. Trial done. We have found the picture. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here.
Trial over. What's the meaning of this?
Art. That's the meaning of this.
What are you doing with that list?
Me?
Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. We stole it from Chief Gant's office.
Huh? These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you.
What?
Order! Order! But, Miss Guy, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Did you ever turn it over, Edgeworth? Come on.
Well, we proved that Edgeworth doesn't turn things over by Gumshoe's report.
Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth.
It's possible. Let's see. He's startled. So Edgeworth makes noises when he's angry.
That's how I imagine it.
That's some good cake.
That's good cake. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask?
Sorry, Your Honor.
Edgeworth, come on.
There's indeed something drawn on the back of my list. You would think that they would give Edgeworth multiple, like, images. Oh my god!
Oh my god.
The blue badger!
That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room.
Clearly this is an act of vandalism that is the work of certain chief of detectives.
I guess he was out of scrap paper. List of evidence in the SL9 incident. Half of this list is found against us. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seems to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture.
We have another honest witness, thankfully. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. The picture shows exactly what happened, what I saw in that instant.
To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I want to take a look at that list. Are we able to see it, or is it all blurred out? Wait.
We're able to see it. Now it looks like that thing is floating in the air. Looks like something's above them. Why would that thing be on the window? It does look like it's definitely at the window though, so it's, if you look at it with the right being the top. Right?
Yeah, what is that?
What is that? There's something above them. There's no way that was just a doodle. Because it has the same parts that equal it being the window.
Yeah.
So that was there. Whatever that is. Congratulations, you're the origin of the Blue Badger, my complete excellent.
Interesting. Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge. Under the direction of Damon Gant and Miss Sky.
2 or 3 days later. The memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. Can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue?
No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor.
You were knocked to the floor?
Wait, you see shadows on the floor. It could have been like a candelabra or something like that. If she was looking for the floor, if it was dangling down enough, it probably would have looked like that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking what would look similarly to that. Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around. That's when the lightning flashed. We needed them to cut out the entire top half of the image.
Yeah. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt.
What happened after the lightning flash?
You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place?
No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further?
What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here.
Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course, this is the exact scene.
It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives?
Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright?
No, of course not. Better watch out or you might find some way to cut my salary.
I I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives. So I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright, is there something that's been bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well... That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet... there's clearly a contradiction here.
Wait, wasn't the guy stabbed in the chest? Or is that the wrong face? Who was Marshall stabbed? Marshall was facing that way and it was in the chest like I'm thinking. I wouldn't be able to hit him in that angle.
Stabbed in the back.
Okay, in the back.
Died from punctured heart and lung. Huh.
Okay, so that makes sense. They were stabbed in the back.
Huh.
What even is he holding?
I don't know. Let's go for it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of the picture contradicts the autopsy report? This?
What's different about it?
Trying to say that he was like not stabbed, that he was stabbed in the back. That's what the autopsy report is. I think.
Apparently it's not that. I just looked it up. It's like, nope, if you need me to.
Yeah, what is it?
The knife.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Or without the tip.
Oh, right. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Right, because it doesn't look like a knife.
She drew it without the tip, so it was already missing that, but it should have been embedded in the victim.
Right.
There's no way it lost it beforehand.
Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright.
But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem?
It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand.
Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean?
The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken.
That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly.
other way to explain this inconsistency.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence?
You're treading on thin ice, Wright.
All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. Order! Order, order! Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted?
Your Honor.
Your Honor. Please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder.
We all keep accidentally saying each other. I think I'm starting to say it more than you know.
That's fine. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gaunt. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie.
I'm not lying. The man was really holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? Huh. Broken knives don't just grow on trees. There's no way there was another one. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, I believe the witness must be mistaken.
That was wrong. I knew it. You really don't believe me.
That flash of lightning burned an unforgettable image in her mind. One that's been torturing her ever since. There's no way Emma could be mistaken. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error.
Complete 180.
Okay.
Mr. Wright?
Sorry. I mean, I think. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, I was not penalized at all for that.
That was funny, at least.
Yeah. That you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Oh my god.
Where's the broken knife, Tom Tom?
I don't know. Is it the picture?
Yep.
This thing?
Yep. That was like, you can't just take the knife off this. We don't want to give prosecutors random knives.
Yeah. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the... Oh.
How did they manage to pry the knife off there? This is a picture of the award ceremony. Yeah. Ah!
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's the broken murder weapon.
Notice the award prosecutor Marshall is holding.
That's a broken knife.
As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order! Order, order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation.
But that can't be.
Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth?
Because if the King of Prosecutors Award knife was the murder weapon, the murderer and the victim will be reversed.
What do you mean?
I mean, the man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Oh. Oh!
Yeah, the one that she saw about to stab the other guy before I had him on the ground was Neil Marshall. Reversed.
So Neil Marshall was the one that was going to stab Joe Dark.
Yep.
Somebody stabbed him in the back.
Yeah, how did he get stabbed in the back from there?
Somebody else was in the room.
Remember, you already managed to get the guy down.
Yeah.
You already managed to get Joe Dark caught.
But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here?
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Hold it. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything.
Witness?
Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back?
I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. Wait a minute, what is that? Is that the King of Prosecutors Award?
I
What?
don't think so. You drew that?
That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture.
Oh my god. Here we go with the music.
At the time, I've been trying so hard to forget.
An appropriate time for this kind of music.
I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you recalled, Miss Guy?
Yes, Your Honor.
First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger. The blue badger is a real killer. This should be interesting.
When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. You attacked Neil Marshall. Good job. Then there was just another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. You saw the blue badger before they even came up with it?
Testimony took a 180.
Testimony is very weird now.
This is certainly most unusual.
Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year.
That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examining.
Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further.
Lana! What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Ooh, somebody's a bad girl. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Stop getting up. Now she's detained. I can just imagine her like sitting in the chair. But I'm the one that did it. I'm the one that did it. I'm guilty. Like going crazy. When I saw that man raise his knife. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark?
Yes, at least I think it was him.
You think?
All I could see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is basically also documented in the prosecutor office report.
So then you panicked and rushed toward both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous?
What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall.
She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife.
But as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When the dark guy knocked me down, all I can think was, I've got to help the other person. I knocked away with him with the knife.
What do you mean you think?
It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly, what I did. It's all kind of a blur. Miss Guy was almost killed before she was a witness to murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Neil Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife.
What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next?
Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger.
Are you sure about this?
Of course, see? I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. Blue Badger didn't exist until 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the department. I had this nagging feeling I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember.
Oh, brother. Just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us.
Show you the blue badger?
Huh? Yeah, I had a feeling it was that. That's what I was thinking. Because I played enough Resident Evil to know that you can rotate things.
That you can rotate things.
Yeah, that's what I had a feeling it was. I wasn't sure. I wasn't going to say anything on it.
I saw this one before without cheating.
But let's not say it for
Not
the
cheating,
viewers.
just to make it easy.
No spoilers for the viewers. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing?
Well, that's what you're supposed to tell us right
He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw a shadow. His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face? With its winning smile and all. That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did.
What she did do.
Okay, so I gotta ask, why does every single sentence now have the word she twice? Like, I've seen a lot of sentences with it. Look, there's a her, she in this one. It's getting kind of weird.
Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was.
What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger really? I just might know. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room.
Mr. Wright.
In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious blue badger look-alike. That's what I had a feeling it was. It's this thing. The mysterious blue badger was, in fact, this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar.
But, Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger.
Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? Gotta show them the correct angle to look at this. Are you gonna play this freaking music? Okay, so I just rotate it, right? I don't put it like over the picture. Alright.
Allow me to remind the defense its case hinges on the witness's drawing. If Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew, we cannot accept his claim. Come on, Mr. Wright. You can do it.
Stop it! Gotta show them the correct angle. Leave me alone. It wasn't that, right?
You want to see your goal again?
That's what I thought it was. Oh wait, do I have to turn it around? Right, dang it. Ah! So specific.
Specific.
Okay, so Q and R. Okay, this is getting awkward. Oh god.
I think you had it for a second there.
Damn it!
You did it too soon.
No! Stop!
Stop hurting your own case, Mr. Wright.
I'm trying to rotate. Stop it, leave me alone. This is delicate attorney work. Oh god. Was that it? Are we sure? Like that? Like that? Like that. Okay. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger.
No, can't be.
Order! Order!
We would sure like to get rowdy in court here.
Man, these faceless individuals on the sides. Calm down. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this.
Object. That was objectionable. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point?
What do you mean?
So the badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything.
I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything.
Totally. Indeed? Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar?
What's the difference now that we know the witness saw this jar? The murder weapon.
The jar's the murder weapon?
The murder. The location. It's a good thing before I have messed up so many times, but my credibility still stands. Murder weapon, right?
Did they kill someone with that pot?
Yeah, they hit him. They threw it.
But then that'd be blunt trauma.
Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar.
At the very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright.
Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant.
But the body was found lying near Solana Sky's desk. Oh, it must have been on the other side of the room.
Oh.
The witness testified so herself.
Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office.
Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body? In order to see it, they would have to be looking at the other side of the room. They must have been fighting. And it ended up going over there. From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office?
Yes.
Why would he do that? There's no reason.
Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? Finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. Too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit?
Oh dear. See? What would he have hit if he hit where the jar is?
The knife?
Yeah. It has a knife there.
Oh.
And that's what stabbed him in the back. He hit a knife and hit with such impact it also threw him into the jar.
Wow, that's a bad way to go.
Killed by the person who you were trying to save.
The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy.
No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking.
Yes. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless, I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Amos Guy knocked away is actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He got knocked into the suit of armor.
That's sad.
So that means when the people happened upon the scene, they saw a man impaled on the suit of armor. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! I never imagined your testimony would lead to this.
So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented.
What are you saying?
Bailiff, why did you let her go? I'm sorry, Miss Guy, but given the circumstances...
Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall?
Evidence?
I'm willing to bet you don't.
Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
If we don't have evidence, we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead.
Certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning.
Touché, Miss Guy. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility.
You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The possibility that the victim left us a message. For better or worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible.
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? Gotta think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind.
I don't think the victim would have left a name in the handprint.
No, not really. Do you think it's that jar?
Probably. That would be something that he's able to reach.
It is in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession.
Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse them of any crime. There's only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Oh. Guess I could try it, right? This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right?
Oh, and he's going to just speak the killer's name?
Yeah, while dancing.
If that thing could, I'm sure it would.
Got a winning smile. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar.
Looks like someone wiped the blood away.
Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there is a line here, drawn in blood.
So what you're saying is these dots were once lines?
Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message.
Why would he leave behind this message? One that someone apparently wiped away.
And he's like, little girl, I'm gonna save you. Oh, you hurt me, you killed me, little girl. I'm gonna write your name on this jar.
Screw you. Screw you, I'm writing your name down. The blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed direction.
That's like a jerk move.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, she did by complete accident.
That's it, little girl. You push me in that knife, I'm writing your name on this jar.
I mean, seriously, she was trying to help him, like he was trying to help her.
Yeah. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent.
No.
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. Gotta connect these dots and make letters. It's only one thing the victim would have written on the murderer's name. Okay, this is weird.
This is weird. Oh, it already seems to be counting.
Oh. So I'm gonna think that Neil Marshall, is secretly a dick.
He just wrote down a little girl's name who didn't even know who she was pushing.
Yeah. You stabbed me. That's it. You're going down.
Well, also, how did he know who pushed him? Like, yeah, he knew there was 3 people in the room. Was he just holding on to one of that guy's arms while she pushed him?
I don't know. It's a defense's attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma.
So this is the final message Neil Marshall left behind.
Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. See, Worthy? Can't say I didn't warn you.
Chief Count?
Do you understand the implications of what you've done?
What? What are you talking about?
2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter, even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death.
Can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault?
Order! 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 The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Oh, how cute.
Oh my god. Well, it's about an hour and 14 minutes, and so we're going to leave it off here and pick it up in the next one. Want to thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment. Hope you have yourself a good day.
Tom, how cute.
You're cute.
You're cute.
Have yourself a good day. Bye-bye.